evil must be punished. Alrighty, as promised, I said I would do a thing on George Washington's prophecy. Now, understand, before I begin, that yes, Snopes does have a page on George Washington's prophecy. However, their premise is not necessarily to say that it doesn't exist or that it wasn't real. Their big complaint was that there wasn't any documentation to back it up, any sources. Well, the link I'm going to give you has tons of sources. Okay, so I don't know where Snopes is coming from when they raise their argument, because their argument's all wet. It makes no damn sense. Anyway, let's move right along here. And I'm going to read this directly from it because I think there's a lot of passion in the story. And if I try to just proofread it or give you my summary of it, it just doesn't do it justice. So I'm going to read it directly from this particular website I have. This is George Washington speaking. I do not know whether it is owing to the anxiety of my mind or what, but this afternoon, as I was sitting at this table engaged in preparing a dispatch, something seemed to disturb me. Looking up, I beheld standing opposite me a singularly beautiful woman. So astonished was I, for I had given strict orders not to be disturbed, that it was some moments before I found language to inquire into the case of her presence. A second, a third, and even a fourth time did I repeat my question, but received no answer from my mysterious visitor, except a slight raising of her eyes. By this time I felt strange sentiments spreading through me. I would have risen, but the riveted gaze of the being before me rendered volition impossible. I essayed once more to address her, but my tongue had become useless, and even my thoughts themselves had become paralyzed. A new influence, mysterious, potent, irresistible, took possession of me. All I could do was gaze steadily, vacantly at my unknown visitor. Gradually the surrounding atmosphere seemed as though becoming filled with sensations and luminous. Everything about me seemed to rarefy. The mysterious visitor herself became more airy and yet more distinct to my sight than before. I now began to feel as one dying, or rather to experience the sensations which I have sometimes imagined accompanied disillusion. I did not think, I did not reason, I did not move. All were alike impossible. I was only conscious of gazing fixedly, vacantly at my companion. Presently I heard a voice saying, "Son of the Republic, look and learn," while at the same time my visitor extended her arm eastwardly. I now beheld a heavy white vapor at some distance rising fold upon fold. This gradually dissipated, and I looked upon the strange scene. Before me lay spread out in one vast plain all the countries of the world, Europe, Asia, Africa, and America. I saw rolling and tossing between Europe and America the billows of the Atlantic, and between Asia and America lay the Pacific. "Son of the Republic," said the same mysterious voice as before, "look and learn." At that moment I beheld a dark, shadowy being, like an angel, floating in mid-air between Europe and America, dipping water out of the ocean in the hollow of each hand. He sprinkled some upon America with his right hand, while with his left hand he cast some on Europe. Immediately a dark cloud raised from these countries and joined in mid-ocean. For a while it remained stationary, and then moved slowly westward until it enveloped America in its murky folds. Sharp flashes of lightning passed through it at intervals, and I heard the smothered groans and cries of the American people. A second time the angel dipped water from the ocean and sprinkled it out as before. The dark cloud was then drawn back to the ocean, in whose heavy billows it sank from view. A third time I heard the mysterious voice saying, "Son of the Republic, look and learn." I cast my eyes upon America and beheld villages and towns and cities springing up one after another, until the whole land from the Atlantic to the Pacific was dotted with them. Again I heard the mysterious voice say, "Son of the Republic, the end of the century cometh, look and learn." As this dark, shadowy angel turned his face southward, and from Africa I saw an ill-omened spectre approach our land. It flitted slowly over every town and city. The inhabitants presently set themselves in battle array against each other. As I continued looking, I saw a bright angel, on whose brow rested a crown of light, on which was traced the word Union, bearing the American flag, which he placed between the divided nation, and said, Remember, ye are brethren. Instantly the inhabitants cast from their weapons, became friends once more, and united around the national standard. And again I heard the mysterious voice saying, Son of the Republic, look and learn. At this the dark shadowy angel placed a trumpet to his mouth and blew 3 distinct blasts, and taking water from the ocean, he sprinkled it upon Europe, Asia, and Africa. Then my eyes beheld a fearful scene. From each of these countries arose thick black clouds that were joined into one, and throughout this mass there gleamed a dark red light, by which I saw hordes of armed men, who, moving with the cloud, marched by land and sailed by sea to America, which country was enveloped in the volume of the cloud. And I dimly saw these vast armies devastate the whole country, and burn the villages, towns, and cities that I beheld were springing up. As my ears listened to the thundering of the cannon, clashing of the swords, and shouts and cries of millions in mortal combat, I heard again the mysterious voice saying, Son of the Republic, look and learn. When the voice had ceased, the dark shadowy angel placed his trumpet once more to his mouth and blew a long and fearful blast. Instantly a light of 1,000 suns shone down from above me, and pierced and broke into fragments the dark cloud which had enveloped America. At the same moment the angel, upon whose head it still shone the word Union, and who bore our national flag in one hand and a sword in the other, descended from the heavens, attended by legions of white spirits. These immediately joined the inhabitants of America, who I perceived were well nigh overcome, but who immediately, taking courage again, closed up their broken ranks and renewed the battle. Again, amid fearful noise of conflict, I heard the mysterious voice saying, Son of the Republic, look and learn. As the voice ceased, the shadowy angel for the last time dipped water from the ocean and sprinkled it upon America. Instantly the dark cloud rolled back, together with the armies it had brought, leaving the inhabitants of the land victorious. Then once more I beheld the villages, towns, and cities springing up where I had seen them before, while the bright angel, planting the azure standard he had brought in the midst of them, cried with a loud voice, While the stars remain and the heavens send down dew upon the earth, so long shall the Union last. And taking from his brow the crown upon which was emblazoned the word Union, he placed it upon the standard, while the people, kneeling down, said, Amen. The scene instantly began to fade and dissolve, and I at last saw nothing but the rising, circling vapor I had first beheld. This also disappearing, I found myself once more gazing upon the mysterious visitor, who in the same voice I had heard before said, Son of the Republic, what you have seen is thus interpreted. 3 great perils will come upon the Republic. The most fearful is the third, passing which the whole world united shall not prevail against her. Let every child of the Republic learn to live for his God, his land, and the Union. With these words the vision vanished, and I started from my seat and felt that I had seen a vision wherein I had been shown the birth, progress, and destiny of the United States. Such, my friends, concluded the venerable narrator, were the words I heard from General Washington's own lips, and America will do well to profit by them. So, he had seen 3 great visions. Okay, the first was the war that he was already in, which was the War for Independence. Then he saw the Civil War. The third and final war could be interpreted in many different ways. It could be interpreted as the whole world coming against America, but it could also be interpreted as being the whole world being controlled by someone, and they sending armies to try and destroy America as the last holdout, if you will. And so that's another possible interpretation. Irregardless, we are victorious in the end because the angels of God himself come down and help us. Angels, beings of light, there's many ways to interpret this, but I think it's abundantly clear that we definitely have allies on our side. And this gives us hope, folks. This gives us hope. All is not lost.